Alright, hey guys, we're going to do 6.4% change. So the percent change is how much something increases or decreases as a percent. So the amount of time you have spent on your screens has obviously increased since you've been stuck at home. But what is the percent change? So if you went from 10 hours average per week before this school closings, and now you're at 15, there is a percent increase from, 10 to 15. So that's different than what we've been learning. So a quick recap. So far we've learned how to find the part, whole, and percent in two different ways. Either the percent proportion, which is part over whole, equals the percent over 100, and then you solve, or there's part is equal to the percent as a decimal times the whole. And then in each one of these you have three different potential variables, and they're going to give you two of those three, and then you're going to solve the equation for the missing one, which we can call x. Okay, so that's a quick recap of what we've done so far in percents. This is different. This is the increase or decrease, okay? Now I want you to pay attention because the book tries to make this more confusing than it should be. The amount of change is, all you do is you subtract the two numbers. So in my example where I said you went from 10 to 15, you subtract 15 minus 10, the big number goes first always, and you would get 5. So the amount of change is you've changed 5 hours more, okay? So it'd be an increase of 5. The original amount was 10 because you started with 10. Here, the more we do these problems, the better you'll be at these. Okay, so let's just do an example. Okay, so this down here shows us what we were talking about hours online on Saturday and Sunday, and they want to know what's the percent increase or decrease. Well, on Sunday we went from 2 to 4.5. So I want you to follow my lead on this until you get the hang of this. Okay, so I want you to write to start off with on your problems or on your papers. This will help you tremendously just to keep it straight in your head. We are going from 2 on Saturday to 4.5. Okay, so the original amount is 2. If you know where you came from and where you're going to, it makes it very clear. So now we're going to subtract. The big number goes first because it needs to, otherwise you'll be negative. So, and we're going to divide by that original amount. So we get 2.5 divided by 2. And my answer is 1.25. So, pause the video. Is 1.25% the answer? Okay, hopefully you paused it, took a second to think about that, and came up with no. Okay, we went from 2 to 4.5. That is much bigger than a 1.2% increase, and we'll kind of talk about that in a minute. So, this is a decimal, and now we need to we need to convert this number to the percent. So we're going to do that by multiplying it by 100, okay? So then the decimal becomes there, and what we get is 125%, and it's an increase. Okay, let's talk about how you should have known, or how you will easily know once you get the hang of these, why that was not 1.25%. Okay, let's look at 2. 2, what is 100% of 2? 2, right? 100% of 2 is 2. If I increased it by 100%, that would mean increasing it by 2. That would bring me to 4. Okay, so right off the bat, you can look at this and know that this increase is over 100%. Okay, so that's kind of how it works. Actually, let's go back. Here's what I want you to do. I want you guys to pause the video and do number 1 by yourself. See if you can get it right, and then I'll go through it really quick. So hopefully you pause the video. If not, do it now and then hit play when you're done. Okay, so on this one, we are going to go from 10 to 25. Okay? By the way, if you want to try these look at the examples in the book and try those, and then the examples will have the answers. So we're going from 10 to 25. So my amount of change is 15. 25 minus 10, right? And my original amount, because I took the time to write from something to something else, we know is 10. So we end up with 15 over 10, which is 1.5. Now we move my decimal. 1, 2, and I get 150%, and it is an increase, okay? This is obviously an increase because it says that find the percent increases, and that's what we're working on. But you always just want to take a second and look at the two numbers, and we obviously increased from 10 to 25. Okay. Finding the decrease. Okay, so we got this little chart. This shows baseball home runs. And it wants to know what is the percent change from 2016 to 2017. So as you can see, we went from 2016 to 2017. There's a decrease this time. So we went from 28 to 20. So again, the amount of change. Well, the amount of change is 8, right? 28 minus 20. And the original amount is the first amount, over 28. Getting those mixed up is the biggest mistake that people will make, okay? If you put this over 20, you get a very different answer. Okay, so we have 8 over 28. When I divide, I believe I have this memorized, but let's go ahead and do it. So on my calculator, I'm doing 8 divided by 28. Remember that 8 goes in the calculator first because it's on top. 0.2857. Now we multiply times 100 or move my decimal 2 places to get the percent, and I get 28.57%, and it is a decrease. It went from 28 to 20. All right, that should get you guys started. Email me questions. Have a good day.